what the sign function does is it tells you, or rather it returns to you, what the sign is. And it does that as follows. If the number is positive, and in this case the number 58 is positive, the output will be a positive 1. There you go. Now, if we do the same, but the number is negative, we should expect the output to be negative 1. And all I did here was I copied this cell formula and pasted this cell formula. I could do the same throughout this entire column, and what you find is that wherever the number is negative, the sign is a negative 1, and wherever it is positive, the number returns a 1. Now let's say I'm going to use column 12 as an example, that the number is 0. In this case, what would the sign be? It can't be a negative 1 because it's not negative, it's 0, nor can it be a positive 1 because it's not a positive number. In effect, it is 0. The sign is 0. Okay, absolute value. This absolute value, symbolically, it's the two parallel signs, the two parallel lines that surround a number. This means that whenever you are referenced a number, the output is always the positive version of that number. If the number already is positive, it's simply that same number. So here's an example. 58 is positive. The absolute value of 58 is 58. But if we do the same for negative 3, here we go. Take a look at the formula here. Absolute value of A3 is positive 3. So again, I can copy that formula and paste down, and what you'll find is for every number in the data set that's positive, the absolute value returned is also positive. In addition, for every value that is negative, the absolute value is positive. All right, we're back in our series on mathematical functions, and today we're going to cover 3 math functions, which are the round, round up, and round down. So very fortunately, the names of the functions very much give away what the purpose of the function is. So as an example, in column A, we have a series of numbers. Now these numbers only show 4 decimal points out, but in effect we have about 13 in each cell. And in our case, let's imagine that we want to round the first number, 40.8190, etc., to 2 decimal points. So in that case, we begin with the equal sign followed by the name of the function round. The first argument is the number itself. So that would be cell A3. And then there's a second argument, which is the number of decimal points you'd like to go out. And in this case, if we want to round to the second place, hit comma and then reference cell B3. Alternatively, if you know you want to simply have 2 decimal points out, you can type in the number 2. But given that we have the cell here, and given that if we wanted to copy formula down, it's easier to reference cells, let's simply reference the cell B3. Click Enter, and what we should expect is a number of 40.82. Because the digit following the 1 is higher, 5 or higher, at that point we would round up. So the number would be 40.82, and that's exactly what we see here. So in this case, using the round function, when you look at the number here, you realize that you do have to round up because the following digit is 5 or greater. So as such, if we were to use the round up function, and this is what I'm going to get at, we should expect the same result as the round function because just simply based on the nature of this number and the number of count that we're going out to. So here we go. We follow the same example as we did with the round. This function will round up the number, and in this case, simply because the 9 is greater, it doesn't matter, we're rounding up anyways, and in this case, you'll see that the answer is the same as the round. Now the round down does just as it says. round down this number to the second count, and what we see here is that we should receive a result of 40.81. Great. So what I'm going to do now, let's keep the same count, but let's use a negative number. What I'm going to do is, because I've already got the formula set up, I can copy this formula, and again, you can click Control-C on your keyboard. I will demonstrate just copying here, highlighting the cells from which you want to paste, edit. I can simply press paste or paste special and paste the formula only. Both will yield the same result. So in this point, what we see is when we round, again, the 9 is higher than 5, so this 5 bumps up to a 6. When you round up, that's exactly what it would do. 5 moves up to a 6. When you round down, the 5 stays constant. So with negative numbers, the function operates the same exact way, almost treating it like a positive number. Okay, so what if we were to round to the 0 place? What does that mean? Well, that would simply cause the number to round up or round down to a whole number. So in this case, if we do the same formula, and in fact, we've already got this set up, so we can simply copy and paste. Again, Control-C, or come up here to the ribbon, Control-C, and this time I want to show you if I just simply do paste, Control-V, because you're not making any changes to the formatting, and it's simply you're copying all, you can just click Control-V or type that in right here, click that in right here. And so at this point, we have whole numbers because that's what the 0 specifies. And what we see is that the round and the round down now match, because when you round and you look at 2 here, 2 is less than 5, this 67.2144, etc. will round down to 67. So we find that the round function will give the same output as the round down function. Round up, on the other hand, will simply look at this number, and even though the 2 should cause the number to round to 67, we round up in this case to 68. Great. Thanks so much for listening on the series, and we'll see you next time.